Improving your spoken English through listening by hearing is one of the most effective methods because it trains your brain to naturally absorb pronunciation, rhythm in real-life usage. Here's a clear, practical way to do it. Listen carefully to how words are connected. If you want, start with English subtitles on. Hello everyone. Today I want to share a story from my life. A story that I will never forget. It is about the time I lost almost all my savings during the stock market crash connected to Harshad Mehta in 1992. But this is not just a story about money. It is a story about hope, excitement, and a painful lesson. Let me take you back to the early 1990s. At that time, India was changing. The economy was opening up, and the stock market was becoming very popular. Every day, newspapers talked about rising share prices, and one name was everywhere: Harshad Mehta. People called him the big bull of the Indian stock market. Whenever he bought a stock, the price would rise like magic. People believed he could not fail. I was a small middle-class man then. I had spent many years saving money little by little. It was not a lot, but it was everything I had for my family's future. One evening, a friend told me something that changed everything. He said, "Everyone is making money in the stock market. Follow Harshad Mehta. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." At first, I was afraid. I had never invested in the stock market before. But everywhere I looked, people were talking about profits. Newspapers showed Harshad Mehta living a luxurious life, big houses, expensive cars, success everywhere. Slowly, I started believing that this was my chance too. So I decided to invest. I put my hard-earned savings into stocks that everyone said were rising because Harshad Mehta was buying them. At first, everything felt like a dream. Every morning I checked the newspaper and the prices had gone up again. My investment value was increasing. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had made a smart financial decision. I even started dreaming about the future. Maybe I could buy a better house. Maybe I could secure my children's education. Maybe life was finally changing for the better. But one morning, everything changed. I still remember that day clearly. The news started spreading that something was wrong in the stock market. At first, people thought it was just a rumor, but soon the truth came out. Harshad Mehta had been involved in a massive financial scam. Money from banks had been secretly used to push stock prices higher. The market that looked so strong was actually built on a fragile system. Panic started everywhere. Investors rushed to sell their shares. Prices started falling faster and faster. At first, I told myself, "Don't worry, the market will recover." But the fall did not stop. Every single day, the prices dropped more. The shares I bought with so much hope started losing value rapidly. And with every fall, a part of my savings disappeared. I remember waking up every morning with fear, opening the newspaper hoping the market had recovered, but the numbers only went down. Finally, I made the hardest decision. I sold my shares. By the time I sold them, most of my money was gone. Years of savings disappeared in a short time. I felt shocked. I felt angry. But most of all, I felt disappointed in myself. For many months, I could not even think about the stock market. But slowly, time helped me understand something important. The stock market is not just about profit. It is about knowledge, patience, and responsibility. Blindly following someone, no matter how famous they are, can be very dangerous. That painful experience taught me lessons I will never forget. Never invest just because everyone else is investing. Never trust market hype without understanding the truth. And most importantly, protect your hard-earned money. The Harshad Mehta scam changed the Indian financial system forever. But for small investors like me, the lesson came with a heavy price. Today, when I look back, I don't just remember the money I lost. I remember the lesson it taught me. And sometimes, the most expensive lessons in life become the most valuable ones too. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes, real stories teach us more than any book ever could. Thank you.